Now today in this video we're trying to do the day 5 left of the AWS series. So today is day 5 left. So the title is we have to create GP3 volume on the AWS cloud. Alright, so let's go together. Yeah, let's go. I can and I will wash me. Come on. Yeah. So I think this test is all the same as before. I think so. So the Nautilus DevOps team is strategizing the migration of a portion of their infrastructure to the AWS cloud. So recognizing the scale of this undertaking, they have opted to approach the migration in incremental steps rather than as a single massive transition. To achieve this, they have segmented large text into smaller, more manageable units. This granular approach enables the team to execute the migration in gradual pace, ensuring smoother implementation and minimizing disruption to ongoing operations. By breaking down the migration into smaller tasks, the Nautilus DevOps teams can systematically progress through each stage, allowing for better control, risk mitigation, and optimization of resources throughout the migration process. So I will copy the whole instruction before we do that. Alright. So the task is about to create a volume with the following requirements. So the volume name is xfusion-volume. Volume type is GP3 and volume size is 2 gigabyte. So we have 3 requirements that we need to carefully consider to do it. So before we start to show the lab, I would explain what is a volume in the AWS cloud. So you can understand a volume is kind of like a elastic block store. So in that volume, we can store data permanently, and we can attach to the EC2 instance, different EC2 instance to work together to store data and to keep the information and many sort of files and documentation a lot. So like USB in the cloud. Yeah, this is an analogy that we can simply understand. What is EBS volume? So EBS volume is kind of like a USB in the cloud. So for example, in real life, it's like external hard drive, USB drive. It's like EBS volume in AWS. So EBS volume is kind of like external hard drive. Yeah, that's the thing we had to understand for this love. So alright, I think you got it. So and I got here also again. This is a bit more. Alright, so here, so in AWS cloud, we have the virtual computer that's an EC2 instance. Anyway, we call it. We can call it. So in EC2 instance, it will have a sort of server, different kinds of server. They are providing services. So alright, so if server is mounting, we have different kinds of volumes. For example, root volume. In the root volume, operating system is installed here in the root volume. So EBS volume have different branches of volumes. For example, this is root volume. In the root volume, we will install operating system. In the data volume, we will keep application data. In the backup volumes, we will do copies for many sort of files and information and packages, many things, a bunch of things we will do copies for requirement, but it is not mandatory, right? But if you care about the backer, you had to do the extra copies in the backup volume. So this is EBS volume, EBS volume storage, and so in these volumes we can keep our data safe even after shutdown of the server or services. So we can do saving the persistent data. It is safer. It is safe. So I think you can understand what is EBS volume for this lab. Alright, so let's do that. So he's already given the console URL, username, password. But in this lab, we can use this console URL or AWS, but we don't use this. In this lab, we use terminal. So let me find in the Google how to create a EBS volume. EBS volume from the CentOS terminal. I will find like that. So we will use this command line. Here we will use this command line. AWS EC2 create volume. Yeah, I will explain here. AWS EC2 create volume. So we can change size to a specific size, and availability zone in US is S1A region, tax specification, resource type volume, tax kidney volume, CentOS. So I will use this command line. So here specific requirements are we have to use the specific name, xfusion-volume, that's the name of the volume. So I will give that name right here. I will replace with this one. So volume type is here GP3. Volume size is 2 GB. 2 GB, so type is 2 GB. So here volume type is, how do we add the volume type? Here we add this volume, create volume. After create volume, we add this volume type GP3, right? It's a GP3. So GP3 site is to availability zone. This is not, we need to do this part actually, but now we are on the US is one region, right? So but anyway, we can add it. So I will copy all of this thing and I will paste right here, and I will create it. So finally we successfully created a volume. So here GP3 and volume, this is the volume ID. So volume size is 2 GB. Alright, so this availability zone is US East -1A. Alright, so we successfully finished for this lab. I think so. So we're trying to check it out and click confirm. Yeah, that's it. We don't even need to go to the AWS console URL. Alright, so I will start here. Yes, no issue faced. Alright, so thanks for watching and going together with me. I will catch you in the next video.